we doing? Thank you. As you can see, we're so back. It's great to be in New York. I was here just over 4 years ago, as Chandler said, in February of 2020. I played a character on stage then, the Prophet LLC. He was a businessman, not a businessman. He was a speechwriting consultant to the billionaire class. I thought about bringing him back, but in the years since, billionaires have gotten really good at communicating with the American people, so I don't think they need my help. Instead, I'm here tonight as myself. To those of you who don't know me, I'm Try. For the past 3 years and 3 months, I've been chief speechwriter to Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. I've been living in Lansing, Michigan, which means that I've started saying things like, it's not the cold that's bad, it's the wind that'll get you. I rent a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment for an amount that would make you all cry. I've adopted the local fashion trends. I bought a Carhartt jacket. It is a youth large, not actually kidding about that. I gotta tell you, the most oppressed people in America are men with 30-inch waists in the Midwest. In other words, I've become what we call in politics a real person. Lansing and Michigan are full of these real people. And to those of you who've never worked in politics, real people is a fun, fairly insulting moniker we use to describe middle-class people facing routine socioeconomic challenges. But who are they? What are they? Why are they? Real people is an identity that cuts across race, class, and creeds. Real people appreciate small talk. I had to fight the urge to ask people how their day was going in the subway today. Real people have a refrigerator in their garage just for beer, and you bet your ass it's Miller Lite. They may not be fancy, but real people can pronounce, oh, that's Lansing. But real people can pronounce all of these correctly. And to the uninitiated, that's Milan, Gratiot, Charlotte, Ypsilanti, Hamtramck, and Mackinac Island. Real people also know true inner happiness. Seems nice, huh? Anyways, let me put it another way. Real people are folks, and folks are real people. Am I making sense? It might be easier to define real people by what they are not. Based on what I'm seeing in this room on 7 p.m. on a Wednesday in southern Manhattan, I don't think any of you qualify as real people. Here are some surefire ways to tell that you are not a real person. If you have heard of West Elm Caleb, not a real person. If you have ever attended a poetry reading, not a real person. If you have seen the television show Girls, not a real person. If you have guilt-read a terrible article on The Cut, not a real person, and you may be entitled to financial compensation. Finally, if you see this screenshot, take it in. Really take it in? Yeah. And you think that's really cheap? Not a real person. You know who is a real person? My boss, Governor Gretchen Whitmer. She always focuses on the issues that make a real difference in real people's lives, what are called the kitchen table issues. To those of you who rent in New York, a kitchen is a separate room in your house. Yeah. On the surface, Governor Whitmer and I have few things in common. She's 52, I'm 28. I'm an immigrant. I was born in India, and my parents had an arranged marriage. She's as American as apple pie. She was born in Michigan, and her parents are typically American, divorced. She's a mom of 2 daughters. I'm an only child and a mama's boy. She was a multi-sport athlete in high school. I was captain of a few teams myself, short-form improv comedy and mock trial. She's often mentioned as a presidential candidate for 2028. I am mentioned occasionally for other equally important jobs. As you can see, we are very different. That's actually me in February 2020. The pandemic has done a number on all of us. But we have a lot in common, too. We're both optimists, we both love a sports metaphor, and we share the same values. She's a progressive champion for women's rights, gay rights, and labor rights. My full name, Chaitanya, basically means woke, as you can see in Sanskrit. So let's listen to Governor Whitmer's voice. What's the secret? What makes her so good at talking to real people? Please enjoy this clip.
My fellow Michiganders.
Glad to be here with you.
Today we go from just believing in Michigan to bragging about Michigan.
Michigan has a place for you.
But I don't have time for people who want to call Beyonce satanic.
Every conversation with folks from other states should start with, hi, I live in Michigan, and here's why you should too.
He should move back to Michigan, am I right?
Yes, I'm talking from the first person here.
So how do you know a Michigander?
You can't be fired or evicted for who you are or how you identify or who you love. That's your business.
We rock Stormy Chromers on our heads, and put Carhartt on our backs to keep us warm.
All working men and women wear Karve.
It's just good economics.
We show off our hometown with pride by pointing to our hands.
Freedom. And our work continues fixing the damn roads. Hey, you got kind of pretty shoes on.
It's our underdog spirit and our championship swagger.
I'm looking at you, Ohio and Indiana.
We bleed maize and blue, but mostly green and white, at least in this town, right?
I figured Ohio shade would get everyone up.
Because we're Michiganders, damn it. And there's nothing better than that.
Let's show the world we are Michiganders and nothing's going to get in our way.
Powerful stuff.
Belief.
There's...
What?
Sorry to cut you off, Governor. There are some useful lessons that she has taught me that I think can apply to any great speech. Number one, know your audience. For her, it's Michiganders, as you could tell. That's why she says it at least 5 to 10 times a minute. I actually crunched the numbers on the roughly 750,000 words I've written for her over the last 3 years. Half were just the word Michigander. Exploit your uniqueness. Tell people who you are. Tell the stories only you can tell in a way only you can. For her, that also means drawing out the accent. I'll often put words into speeches just to highlight it. She loves cars, she drinks pop, and she plays euchre. Her favorite animal is a shark, Good guys and bad guys. Every great speech needs an antagonist. It could be a person, a place, or an idea. For the governor, the good guy is always the great state of Michigan, and the bad guy is usually Ohio or another Midwestern state. If there's one thing we all agree on in Michigan, it's that Ohio is terrible. It's kind of like our New Jersey. 4, have a clear philosophy and stick to it. The governor is unrelentingly positive. In a cynical, jaded world, she insists that we act as the voice of light and hope with a mix of optimism and patriotism. If you're rebranding as someone with light behind their eyes, I bet you agree too. 5, tell stories about real people. The more Michigan, the better. Don from Ontonagon, sign me up. Steve from Muskegon, you betcha. Nothing fake like Castine from San Francisco, or Tarek from Santa Monica, or Amaya from Cupertino, or Paulina from Manhattan, or Michelle from Berkeley. They're all my friends. They're all here. Thank you for being here. I've had this job for a while, so I'm pretty locked in when it comes to writing for the governor. I've gotten inside her head, and I understand her voice. I am worried that I've forgotten my own voice, but I don't think that's the case. I hope to demonstrate that today. Let's apply briefly some of these lessons I've learned writing for the governor to help you on speeches you'll have to give in your own life. First, a graduation speech. You may have to sit through one of these over the next few months. Maybe you'll give one someday. Here's a template I wrote that would work for nearly any graduation with a few minor tweaks. My fellow Michiganders, congratulations on your achievement. As my dad once said, tough times don't last, but tough people do. Through grit and hard work, you got it done. But you didn't get here by yourself. You're here because of folks who had your back every step of the way, your family, friends, and your fellow Michiganders. I know you're nervous about the future, but I want to tell you all about a former graduate who was nervous too. That little graduate was me. Let's break it down. Dad quote folksy. Real people love quoting their relatives, especially if it's clearly like a popular piece of advice that everybody knows. This is also a textbook case of sharing a story about a real person and exploiting your uniqueness. In this case, the real person is the governor herself, and a good graduation speech will always try to find the connective tissue between the speaker and the audience. Moving on. Here's a speech you could give to your conservative relative about why diversity is important. Michiganders are amazing. But there are plenty of other people out there. Ohioans from Ohio, Hawkeyes from Iowa, Minnesotans from Minnesota, alcoholics from Wisconsin, and racists from Missouri. But you know what they have in common? Grit. They believe in America. They want better futures for their children, just like you all do. Sure, their states are stupid, and they don't have the Great Lakes, which contain 21% of the world's fresh water. But they are still moms and dads, brothers and sisters, folks. And folks, we are all good people deep down, and we need each other. It's just that simple. As you can see, clear example of good guys and bad guys here, right? It also demonstrates the speaker's philosophy, Michigan superiority, the Great Lakes, and positivity. Including facts is also always good. 21% of the world's fresh water in the Great Lakes. Pretty crazy, right? And then you bring it all home with a rousing call for unity. And finally, here's a speech that I think feels more applicable to your daily lives. Here's a speech you can use to break it off with your situationship, which I hear are a big deal here in New York. My fellow Michigander, singular. I think you're great. By taking me out to dinner in neighborhoods where your friends can't see us, you are growing our economy and supporting good-paying local union jobs. While I am a big supporter of unions, especially the UAW, I am no longer a supporter of me and you. I wish you well. Please don't cry. I want this breakup to be free of tears, which are salty, unlike the Great Lakes, which have 21% of the world's fresh water. Are you seeing it now? Clear philosophy. Another lake mention and call-outs to both small businesses and labor unions. Also meet people where they are, you know? If it's an emotional speech, be there for them. Feel their pain. This situationship, who knows? Probably not going to take it well, but never abandon your core message. It's over. Clearly, I have developed my own style of writing with my own voice. Sure, it's loosely inspired by what I may have picked up writing for Governor Whitmer. Sure, when I close my eyes, I see a map of Macomb County. But I think my voice is distinct. After 3 years of writing for one of the country's most powerful and effective politicians, I'm happy to offer you my services. For the small price of $500 an hour or a month's rent in Lansing, you too can enjoy my speech writing services. If you need to talk to real people, give me a call. I got your back. Thank you, my fellow Michiganders.